is Sky News, Australia's news channel.
It is 7 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. in Christchurch. Welcome to Sky National News. These are the top stories. New Zealand's South Island rocked by one of the biggest earthquakes to hit the region in 80 years. Hundreds of residents evacuated from Christchurch, with the damage bill expected to reach $2 billion. Also in New Zealand, no survivors from a skydiving tragedy after a plane crashed on the Fox Glacier. The Army on its way to Victoria to help with the state's developing flood emergency. In sport, Fremantle flying high in the AFL after knocking Hawthorn out of the finals. Tomorrow's weather: strong winds and showers easing over the country's southeast, scattered rain for southeast Queensland.
This is National News.
New Zealand's South Island has been rocked by one of the biggest earthquakes to hit the region in 80 years. Now, it struck around 4:30 this morning, causing widespread damage to the city of Christchurch. A state of emergency has been declared following the earthquake, which measured a magnitude of 7.1 and was centred 30 kilometres to the west of the city. There have been no reported deaths and only 2 serious injuries, while many buildings and roads have been damaged. Residents have been evacuated from some areas because of disrupted water and power.
Security vision shows workers fleeing a bakery and supermarket as New Zealand's second biggest city started to shake violently. The quake lasted about a minute and the damage it caused is extraordinary.
It shook very hard and it seemed to take a heck of a long time to stop.
So many people in these crumbled buildings thought they were going to die.
The whole building felt as if it was actually going to fall over sideways, and it was shaking back and forward.
Paintings fell down, the lights were just going nuts.
The city's older buildings crumbled, burying cars under bricks.
The roof was actually waving. It was going like a wave. The sprinkler systems went off. There was stock falling everywhere.
Pretty scary. My microwave ended up in my fish tank.
Pub patrons ran for the street.
Somebody shouted out, get the hell out, it's an earthquake.
We're on a 3-storey building and it was just like that. It was just like sitting on top of jelly.
Minutes after it hit, people in this hotel room were still shell-shocked.
The lights still going.
And we got evacuated from the building, so we've got really nowhere to go at the moment.
This afternoon, Prime Minister John Key toured the devastated city.
What you can see in terms of damage around the city is really the tip of an iceberg.
A state of emergency has been declared and it will be in place until at least Monday. Cracked water pipes have flooded entire neighbourhoods in sewage. Some residents could be in the dark for at least 2 more days. Christchurch's infrastructure is in ruins.
We will be arranging for water supplies to be available where necessary.
Police are now patrolling the centre of the city after looters hit several shops.
What we had is a couple of guys this morning, opportunistic, smashed a couple of windows, tried to grab some gear.
The damage bill is estimated at $1.5 billion, with hundreds of insurance claims already lodged.
I think we need to go and have a look and see the extent of the damage and work our way through that.
Now, all day here at Sky News, victims of the earthquake have been detailing their fears as buildings shook in the early hours. As we've heard, residents were sound asleep when the quake hit and many had no idea what was happening.
My husband and I heard the noise first and it sounded like a train was approaching the house, and it just seemed to go on forever. Probably went for 40 or 50 seconds, I would say.
I felt that it was the most scary thing in my life that I've ever experienced. It sounded like the wind, but then once I really started shaking, then I definitely knew what it was.
We're getting quite a few people coming through with minor injuries, but thankfully only a handful with major injuries from the earthquake.
But just walking up the street, there are shops where they're demolished. The only water that you can possibly get, obviously, is bottled water. I have to say there's a lot of people out in their cars, people out with cameras. They're obviously ignoring the requests of the authorities to stay indoors, but they're all out there.
I mean, a lot of people have experienced smaller earthquakes, but this is the first time anyone's experienced something like this.
There's just walls that fall in, there's windows that have smashed in, there's like a whole building that a whole wall has come off, and you can see 3 stories of cafes really, and it's just bricks and cars, and it's just horrible because you don't expect it to happen in such a big place where nothing like that's happened before.
I thought I was going to die at one stage, and that, yeah, I just left it to God, and I just ran straight to the door and just saw all my family just lying in the doorway and saying, it's going to be okay, it's going to stop soon.
Now, while the earthquake wasn't felt in Australia, it did send shockwaves through New Zealanders living here. The disasters also caused major problems for travellers, with all flights to Christchurch cancelled.
Civil defence.
Karen Krinker found out about the earthquake via a text message from her sister in New Zealand.
Well, here comes another one.
By then, her family was already at Melbourne Airport.
There are now no flights in and out of Christchurch until Monday.
Luckily, they got on a flight to Auckland instead. Many others missed out.
You've got to feel for them over there, though. I mean, they don't need us when they've got so much drama.
Incoming flights were affected too. 4 of this man's car hire customers in Brisbane never showed up.
I don't know when they're going to come through now or what's happening there.
A sense of uncertainty also felt by Kiwi expats watching the drama unfold on TV.
We're freaking out because all my family, all my friends are there.
The earthquake didn't trigger a tsunami warning, but it did sound the alarm at Australia's earthquake monitoring headquarters in Canberra.
Big peaks mean big event.
Such events are common in the region, but not here.
Of this magnitude, we might have one event every few decades.
At this stage, our government is yet to offer New Zealand any support. The Foreign Affairs Department's first priority is to find out whether any Australians have been affected. If you're concerned for someone's welfare, call the department's emergency hotline on 1300 555 135.
Still in New Zealand, and all 9 people, including an Australian, on board a skydiving plane have died after it crashed on the Fox Glacier this afternoon. The incident happened on the west coast, and witnesses say a large plume of smoke could be seen from kilometres away.
This is what's left of the Fletcher fixed-wing plane after it crashed at the end of the runway at the Fox Glacier airstrip. These children were playing by the airstrip just as tragedy struck.
It was taking off and it took off too early and just did a loop and came down and crashed.
One resident who wanted to remain anonymous said he could hear something was wrong from the beginning.
When it took off, it was revving a long way more than normal revved. Well, that sounded that way to me anyway. And then the girl I was talking to, she said, oh, that plane must have crashed. Look around, here's a great cloud of smoke coming up. That's all we've seen. That's what happened. It happened that quick.
The plane was on fire within seconds.
I just come down the road here and it was just lying in the paddock here, and it's just a ball of flames, 10, 12 feet in the air, if not more. The whole plane was fully engulfed in flame, yeah.
Police say the 9 deceased are 5 New Zealanders and 4 tourists. The pilot and 4 males are locals from Fox Glacier, and the other 4 are from England, Germany, Ireland and Australia. The area has had its fair share of accidents. In 1994, 7 people died in a helicopter crash near Fox Glacier. This time, police say the aircraft was carrying a party of skydivers. 3 News called Skydiving New Zealand, who operate in Fox Glacier. The employee would neither confirm nor deny that the aircraft belonged to them. Police are now locating and notifying family members, with names expected to be released tomorrow. The bodies that have been recovered will remain in Fox Glacier until tomorrow, when they will be taken to Dunedin Hospital.
Police say the Army will be called in to help emergency services battling flood emergencies around Victoria. Heavy rain is continuing to fall, causing landslides and flash flooding. One of the worst hit areas is Creswick in Victoria's northwest, where dozens of people have been forced to leave their homes.
Saturday morning in Creswick's main street is a lake. After recent good rain, the Creswick Creek could not hold the overnight falls. By mid-morning, nearly 90 millimetres of rain had fallen and evacuations had begun. The local caravan park was among the worst hit areas. Around 20 residents and visitors were brought out by police and CFA crews any way they could.
Been told to evacuate, so just had to get our personal things and head out.
Some managed to save pets, others just got themselves out.
Losing everything, that's a hard thing.
Got nothing out?
Packet of smoke.
They were taken to the relief centre, hastily set up in the town hall. The caravan park's youngest visitor, 8-month-old Layla, was oblivious to the drama. Her mother, though, wonders what's ahead for her family.
It's really tough not knowing what's happening and just to get enough stuff for her, keep her warm.
Residents of a local retirement village also sought shelter after being inundated.
I've never seen water rise like it did over where I live.
The water rose so quickly, many had no time to take anything with them.
Absolutely devastating.
Dozens of homes were flooded. SES crews helped move the elderly to higher ground, while officials took to the sky to survey the extent of the flooding. All evacuees will be offered state government grants. Most will spend the night in emergency accommodation.
We didn't get our meals either in.
But businesses were also affected.
We own a local takeaway, and at the moment the freezers are floating in the shop.
The rainfalls caught everyone by surprise. Locals knew it was going to rain, but with Weather Bureau warnings focused on the northeast of the state, no one was expecting anything like this level of flooding. There wasn't much footy action today. Lawn bowls was also called off. Nearby Clunes was also badly affected. Homes were flooded and streets cut off. In the Maryborough area, 80 millimetres of rain overnight caused widespread flooding, forcing locals to take emergency measures. In Bendigo too, the rain cut off roads and left cars stranded. By this afternoon, floodwaters had begun to recede and the damage was slowly revealed.
The water come right up to here.
The city of Melbourne, by contrast, emerged almost unscathed. Strong winds buffeted the port, but nothing like the damage caused in the west.
Pray for rain, but I think everybody overdid it.
Parts of Victoria's northeast have been put on red alert, with the floodwaters expected to peak